All right, guys, finally digested the Fanatics news, done some soul searching on what I'm thinking as far as my own buying patterns and what that could look like for me. Let's talk about it strategy-wise. Stick around. Hello to all my sports card collectors, investors, all my collectibles friends out there in the universe. Thank you very much for joining me here today. I'm excited to see you. Today we're going to talk about just some kind of big picture stuff. We're going to get philosophical a little bit. And I just want to talk about kind of some of the recent news with Fanatics looking to take over sports cards essentially here in a few years. What does that mean for my particular buying options? What do I think that I'm going to move into or just kind of really focus on? And first off, let me just kind of start by saying what I decide to do might not be relevant to any other person on earth. I am literally just like another talking head on the internet that's collecting cards. What I like might not be what anybody else likes. So the main thing, the important thing to take away from what I'm saying here is buy what you want. The stuff that you like, that's all that matters. Because there is a zillion different cards to choose from to where there is taste for everybody. Just because I like something doesn't mean that anyone else does. So let me just first kind of put that out there into the world, because this is not any sort of buy these cards or sell these cards now. I'm talking kind of just big picture, what I'm thinking about certain things, and that's it. So take it with a grain of salt for sure. We've all heard that Fanatics is going to be taking this over. They're going to be the ones producing sports cards here in the next few years. We don't know if they're going to buy Topps or buy Panini and continue on with Topps, Chrome, and Panini. And so that brings me along to my first point as far as where I'm focused in on. I'm going to assume, because we just don't know, of course, all of this is speculation, but for all we know, Topps Chrome and Bowman and Prism, Panini Prism goes away. We just don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with that IP right now, or it might just be put on ice for a while. We just don't know what's going to happen. Fanatics may very well say like, hey, we're going to do our own thing. Like, we're here to do our own deal, and those brands are great, but we're going to do something better. And so with that, I'm really going to focus on, important cards that are, those Topps Chrome is very popular, Prism is popular. And as time goes on, I have not been a new product guy since I got back in the hobby, meaning that like, as new product comes out, hobby boxes, and I've never chased retail. I have not been out there chasing after any of the new product. Have I bought like some newer cards of newer players? Yeah, I have along the way. But for the most part, I've been buying some of the older stuff. Not necessarily saying that all of my stuff is vintage, but it's not necessarily stuff from this year where we've got new product. I'm not ripping wax on new product. I'm not getting into breaks for new product. That's not really the way that I hobby. So for me, the new product, whether it's Fanatics or Panini or whatever it is, it doesn't affect me as much in that sense. But it just kind of makes me double down, triple down on the plan that I already kind of have, and that I'm looking for cards from the past. There's so many great cards from the past for the players that I like in particular, and whether that be GOATs or people that I think are kind of on that GOAT fringe or kind of up-and-comers or whatever that is, I'm going to focus on important cards for those players. I'm not really necessarily as worried about what if Fanatics has their own line of products and what does that mean for the end consumer? Are they going to like it? And all that stuff. I'm not really focused on new product. And even with Panini and Topps continuing over the next few years, we don't know what those print runs are going to look like. And honestly, they were already kind of moving to the point of really producing, I don't want to say necessarily overproduction, but definitely producing more. And so, unless they just really scale back over the next few years and they're like, you know what, we're going to make all of our stuff super scarce, I'm really not going to touch it. Even if it's, a great rookie class or whatever it is, I'm going to focus on, there's so much vintage and so much stuff from the past. Like I said, particular players that I focus in on, that have cool insert cards, patch autos. I've been focused a lot on that, especially in the football market where you've got Hall of Fame players. You got patch autos that are, or just autos in general that are low numbered, that are on card or whatever, that really in comparison to some of the other stuff we see out there in the basketball and the baseball world seem to be fairly low in comparison. Now, is that because football cards just don't get the love and they never will? Maybe, but it's just what I like to collect, and so that's just kind of where I've been focused. And so for me, it's numbered cards from the past, from great sets, whether it be Upper Deck, SP, or Exquisite or National Treasures, or some of the more kind of higher end sets. Some of the singles. What's amazing is the sealed wax is thousands and thousands of dollars for 6 cards in a box. Yet you go on eBay and the singles for a lot of those sets are fairly reasonably priced, in some instances. So that's really where I'm going to focus. So to me, like whether this is Fanatics, Panini, Toys R Us is coming back into the fold, and now Toys R Us is taking control of the licenses, and KB Toys and Toys R Us are controlling the sports card world. Doesn't matter to me because I'm just going to kind of put that on the back burner. And down the road, if that's something that looks great, then great. But otherwise, it's not really a focus. There's so much other inventory out there. To me, that's more important. The new product stuff can just wait. For me, too, I ask myself, what is the nostalgia going to look like in 20 years? Because we always talk about this with cycles, with sports cards or with any type of collectibles. In 20, 25, 30 years, what's going to happen? What are people going to be looking at? What are the inserts of today, that are going to be of interest? Are there inserts? I know a lot of people have talked about Kaboom being one of them. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. They're also making a lot of different Kabooms, a lot of different Kaboom here, different sets. Is it going to be overly saturated? Maybe. Is Prism, are people going to look at Prism, if Prism goes away, if Fanatics kind of does away with Prism in 25 years from now, they're looking back and saying, man, those silver Prisms, I remember those silver Prisms, I couldn't afford it, I couldn't get them in packs, or I couldn't afford it, or whatever. It's going to all happen again, I think. I think this stuff cycles. And so I do ask myself which players are going to be important, and then which sets do I think, which, sets are a little bit more safer than others, is having that importance down the line. Because I am, for a lot of stuff, I am more of kind of a long-term hold on it. I just want to see what happens with it. And then, of course, there's some short-term stuff as well. But, there are some things that I want to just kind of sit and hold and see what happens with it over time. And that's really what's going to be great to see, is kind of what sets down the line are going to be, wanted by the hobby. What are the young people today, when they're 25, 35, 40 years old like I am, or what are they going to say like, man, I really love that set, or I really like that set? Or is it all going to be NFTs? Is it all going to be something completely different? Or is NFTs going to morph into something different? I don't think physical sports cards ever goes away, but how does it evolve? And what does it mean for the generations to come? I think that is really, really interesting and fun. And whether that's collectibles of all type. It's not just sports cards. It's all of it. Whether it be comic books or video games, sports cards, Pogs, Beanie Babies, whatever it is, what is it going to look like down the line? I think that's fun to kind of study and watch. So guys, I know that, I've been talking a lot about on my channel, but a lot of kind of Hall of Fame, for me, it's been Hall of Fame autos, patch autos, and it's Exquisite, National Treasures, Flawless. Those are the types of things that I am focused on currently. And it's some people that are off the beaten path. I actually bought just because I thought the card was cool, I bought a Warren Moon. I think it was National Treasures. Maybe it was Exquisite, but Warren Moon on-card auto. I got an Eric Dickerson on-card auto. I got an Earl Campbell on-card auto because I'm looking at like the price points of this stuff. And I just like it. I like the price points. And these guys are legends of the game. So I thought that would be just kind of fun to own. And again, I'm always looking at kind of the downside. How much can I lose on this card if I buy it? And then also it's just cool to collect. For me, it's all about the collectability as well. We talk about this all the time. What's something I'm okay with being stuck with? And this is the type of stuff that I think over time is going to be okay. Whereas if we're looking at base cards and even parallels, what's funny now and ironic is the hits and the parallels and the colored stuff, especially the stuff that's not numbered. It's concerning. And this goes back, not even just over, this year, but over the last few years. There's just so many parallels. Great video came out recently. Chris, one of my hobby friends, baseball card collector, investor, dealer, he was breaking down, I believe it was Justin Herbert rookie cards and all the different colors of the rainbow. He named off like it felt like 1,000 cards. I think it was like 50 cards. And it wasn't even all of them. It was only Prism. He was only talking about Prism, and it was literally like 30 or 40 cards. He wasn't even talking about Select or Optic or anything else. And it's a massive amount of parallels. And so that's where I've been thinking like, okay, do I buy parallels? Now, for certain players, I'm buying parallels, but for everybody else, it's patch autos and maybe it's Hall of Famers or it's vintage or whatever. So, but I thought that was just kind of interesting. Let me know what you guys think. Has the Fanatics news altered, the way that you're buying, selling cards? Are you digging deep, or are you just doubling down and just kind of sticking with what you're doing? Or are you just taking a break, sitting on the sidelines and trying to decide the best way to attack? I'd like to hear kind of your views on this because I think it's interesting. But anyone that follows me on IG or just has heard me talk lately, it's been, vintage cards, and it's been a lot of just kind of Hall of Fame autos. I've got just recently Jerry West auto, Troy Aikman auto, random, no, I wouldn't say random, but in important sets as well, whether it be Flawless or Upper Deck SB and that's the stuff I'm on the hunt for. And just kind of looking at different, whether it be numbered, just kind of population, all the rest of it. I'm focused on those sorts of things. Let me know what you think. I would like to hear and learn from you all as well. You guys have a great day ahead. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.